Hello, 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 and welcome to the channel. I'm Shakia, and in this episode, we are going to talk about Sister Wives, Season 17, the finale. What did you think of that episode? How would you rate it? I'm going to be honest, it didn't give me enough. It did not give me enough. I wanted more of the story. It felt like there was one real conversation that just dragged on for the entire episode. And I wanted more. Now, we learn that Janelle and Cody are separated. But we don't even learn that from the episode. We learn that from the preview, the teaser for their one on one meetings, for their version of the tell all. Now, what I will say, let's back up a little bit. Two things that I found interesting. One was the reaction that Savannah, Janelle's daughter, gave when Cody stopped by their new rental, their apartment. And she's like, it really doesn't seem like there's a difference. When dad is here, he's not really here that often. It feels more like he's dropping by, he's stopping by. And so I thought that was interesting because, according to Sir Cody, he likes to blame the moms for the kids' relationship for their relationship with him, or for his relationship with the kids, or lack thereof. And so I thought her response was telling, because she's old enough to make up her own mind. She's old enough to determine what this relationship is like for her between her and her father. And she's like, it feels like he just stops by. Like he's not really here all that much. And so when he wasn't really stopping by in the RV, or he wasn't there because he had the 19, it really didn't seem all that different from when he would stop by. I thought that was telling. I also, okay, what I did think was interesting. So, something else I thought was interesting was the conversation he initially had with all the wives. And Janelle was excited to talk about the plans for Coyote Pass. And of course they didn't really talk about the plans. And poor Janelle, she wants to build. She said this is her estate. She wants to build on this property. They didn't talk about it. Instead, Miss Robin, crying Robin, because Robin will find she will find time to cry. There will always come a moment where Miss Robin is going to cry. And so Robin starts talking, and you could tell, her voice is a little shaky. But she says, where are we just going to go on as if this thing with Christine didn't happen? And Robin says, like, Christine's departure was really hard for her. And I wonder why. Like, I get, it's the breakup of the family. Okay, I understand that part. But what else, Robin? Why exactly is her departure so tough for you specifically? I'm just curious. This isn't even a shot or shade at Robin. I'm actually curious on why it's so hard for her. Is it because she feels like she's not getting the family unit that she wanted to get, or that she signed up for when she joined the family? But again, that goes back to her needs, what she wants. But it doesn't really say anything about Christine and their actual relationship with one another. So I would be interested to hear why Robin is so heartbroken over Christine's departure from the family. Okay, what else? So they're talking about it, and of course, Cody tries to put all of the blame onto Christine. Christine isn't even there to defend herself. But essentially, he's saying because of the 19 and because of his rules, and because they couldn't communicate properly, Christine left. And I guess he felt like she could have done more, but also, Cody, so you could have done more too. So, I'm just like, whatever. And Janelle said that, I think, during her confessional, one of her confessionals, she says, I don't want this to become a bashing Christine fest, And that's what it felt like it was becoming, because that's what Cody wanted. He wants Cody really would like to get his point across that he is not at fault. That's what it seems like as the viewer. That he's not at fault, that everything that went wrong was because of Christine. And now everything that's going to go wrong is going to be because of Janelle, because Janelle and Cody are now separated. Which I'm curious to hear what's the difference between a separation and a divorce in this scenario, because neither Christine nor Janelle were legally married to Cody. They were both spiritually married to Cody. And so he says in the teaser for their one-on-ones that he's divorced from Christine and he's separated from Janelle. So I'd be curious, what exactly does that mean? What does that look like for them? What does that mean? And does that mean that eventually, does that mean that they're separated and they like to get back together? I wonder what a separation would look like for them, especially considering they didn't really see each other all the time. He kind of lived with her, but not really. Oh, that's another thing. When he showed up to see Janelle's apartment, judgment, right? And he's just like, oh, it's really small. Oh, this, that, like these things that are wrong or things that he doesn't like about it. And I'm like, dude, did you help her get the apartment? How about you help her get into something nice? It always feels like you want to tell her what she should do, but you don't help her to do it. And then when she makes a decision about it, you give her and you take issue with that. So what is it that you want, Cody? What do you want from this woman? Um, During one of the final scenes of the show, they're back at the house, they're sitting in a circle and they're talking with each other, the wives, the remaining wives, and Cody. And Cody says he's talking about he's using the analogy of chess. And Cody says on the chessboard, the king is nothing without his queen. And he says, but could you imagine having three queens? Could you imagine having three queens? And eventually he says, the queens all have to work together. And I think Mary asked the question, well, do you believe that your wives have to be best friends? Because I think prior to that, they were talking about whether or not Cody believed in plural marriage anymore. And he said, and so Mary said, do you think in order for plural marriage to work, that the wives have to be best friends? Which I brought up in another video, like, hey, Cody, it's fine if your wives aren't best friends. That's okay. And he said, and that's where he brings up this analogy about the chessboard. And he says, the queens have to work together. Um, and he says, but they don't have to be best friends with one another. We've just seen that play out completely with Christine. I attempted to write down some of the quotes. So he says they've seen it play out with Christine that when the queens don't work well with each other, then the unit falls apart essentially. Again, putting all the blame on Christine. It didn't fall apart because Christine wasn't there, and their plural marriage isn't working only because of Christine. The wives do not have to be best. The wives do not have to be best friends, and I agree with him. Everybody needs to work together, including Cody. They all need to work together as a unit for whatever their common goal is, whatever their shared goal is. Okay, I agree with that. And yet, it looks like they were working together for whatever was going on within the family at the time. So what more is it? What did you want from them? Because every time we hear Cody speak about the relationship between the wives, it sounds like he's upset that they aren't best friends, and especially that they aren't best friends with Robin. And then he says, well, I think in one of his confessionals, he says that Christine would complain about Janelle and Janelle would complain about Christine to him. And Janelle says Cody would tell her about Robin complaining about the wives to him. And Robin says, I don't know what Janelle is talking about. I don't know what she's talking about. I learned long ago, don't share my feelings about the other wives with Cody. And apparently because Cody can't hold water, according to Janelle, she's like, Cody can't hold secrets. Like, if you tell him, the other wives are gonna find out. So I was really annoyed again with Cody because he seemed to blame Christine. He's always talking about accountability, and I was really hoping that he would take some accountability. Like I was still I was giving Cody the benefit of the doubt. Like, Cody, at this point, you're going to step up. You're going to take accountability. He did make some sort of apology to Janelle because he was raising his voice, and she like got up to leave and walk away. And Robin's like, "Can we please just talk a little bit more?" And Janelle is like, "I will talk, but you're not going to keep yelling at me, dude. So I will come back and we can have a conversation, but you're not going to keep yelling at me." So he gave an apology. There was some miscommunication, even though we heard him say this, um, that Janelle was saying they were discussing where they were going to be spending the holidays. And Janelle said, "Well, I'm going to spend it with my kids. I feel like I have to choose between this right here, talking about the other wives and their children, and Cody and her kids." And she said, "I'm always going to choose my kids." And she said, because Robin was asking her like, "Well, what's what's going on?" Something like that. And Janelle said, "Well, my kids, I don't really think my kids are welcome." And they're like, "Whoa, why?" And she looks at Cody and she goes, "Well, you said that they have to apologize to you and Robin." And Robin's like, "Whoa, wait a minute. Why do you put me in it? I never said that." And so then that conversation comes back during that last segment as well. And Cody is like, "But I said that I'm willing to just have a conversation with them, that they don't have to apologize. I'm willing to just have a conversation with them." And that's where they get into the discussion about the plural marriage. So I know I'm retelling this a little bit out of order, but that's okay. Because the episode just really, it's what we expected. It's what we've seen all season, to be honest. It's like one extended conversation, just this long conversation. It's the same conversation. And I was hoping we could see, like I said before, a little bit more, and some accountability from Cody, also from Robin. Like, are we going to talk about the part that you played, or the perception? Are we going to discuss that, and how maybe you all can make amends with some of the older children, how y'all can have an actual conversation with them and hopefully come to some sort of resolution? Also, Miss Mary, she she wanted it to be known that she was sticking by him. She's gonna hang in there, because Robin, when they were talking about, when they attempted to talk about the property lines, and Robin's like, "I just want to know if everybody's gonna stick with it, hang in there." And Mary said, "Well, we've had conversations, Robin, and I'm not going anywhere. It's been 6 years, and it'll be 10 years, 15 years, and I'm still staying here. I'm still here. I'm still fighting." And then Cody, in his confessional, he's like, "The wife who wants to try. I'm not interested in having a relationship with Mary like that." And I'm like, Mary, what is your end goal? Is it that you really want to work on things with Cody? Are you really hoping to be married to him, to have the marriage that that consists of affection and intimacy and warmth and conversation that goes beyond just platonic friendship? Or are you sticking around because it helps you all film these seasons and y'all can collectively generate some paychecks? Like, I'm curious what the decision to stick around is. Is it really for love, or is it for something else? Because this man has said over and over and over again that he is not interested in a romantic relationship with you. Now, here is what I find interesting, or what would be interesting. Could you imagine, when we watch these one on ones, if Cody says, "Well, I'm willing to give it a chance with Mary because she's willing to stick around." But I feel like he would be doing that out of obligation, not because he genuinely wants to have a relationship with Mary. What do you think? What do you think about that? Let's see. So yeah, he continues to blame the wives. He blames Janelle. Oh, he blamed Janelle. He blamed Janelle for the relationship that he has with his kids. The same thing he did with Christine. He's putting the fault on Janelle, and he says, "From now on, you know, I can speak to the kids directly. Let me speak to the kids directly because of the misunderstanding about whether there needed to be an apology or not," which is what I have been saying all season. Sir, Why are you going through the wives to talk to the children, especially the older children? Why? You can have your own relationship. This is the era of the cell phone age. I'm sure these kids, these adults have their own phones. You can communicate with them and contact them directly. You don't have to go through the wives or the mothers in order to get in touch with them. Or is it that they weren't picking up your calls? Or were you even calling them? Were you expecting them to only reach out to you? So I guess he had enough of that and he's like, I don't want you to speak for me when it comes to the kids. I'll talk to the kids directly. That's what you should have been doing. You could have been doing that, sir. You could have been doing that all along. Man, I was so over it. I'm going to be honest. I was over it. And I'm like, okay, let's just see these one-on-ones because now we know that he and Janelle are not together. I want to hear what the separation looks like. That's what I'm looking forward to. I want to hear Robin too. I want to hear what she thinks about people saying that she's the favorite. I want to hear what she thinks about people saying she's the reason for this division with Cody and his kids and the other wives. Like I want to hear her side of the story. Hopefully, she doesn't cry the entire time. There's nothing wrong with crying or expressing your emotions. There's nothing wrong with that. I just think she does it every single time. And I wonder, is it because you want sympathy? Is it because you want to? I, I'm not even gonna go there right now. I wonder why she's always crying. Just speak, okay? But yeah, I'm interested in the one-on-one conversations. I would be interested to hear what Mary has to say, especially seeing that during this season alone, Cody has said multiple times that he is not interested in a romantic relationship with her. So at this point, Mary, what's up? What's Come on, what's up, girl? And I want to hear, of course, from Christine and Janelle. Of course, I want to hear from Christine and Janelle. Now, wouldn't it be something if they get their own show? Ooh, the single lives of Christine and Janelle. Oh, and Cody wasn't involved. Oh, he'd be so upset if it just focused only on them and their new journey and their new lives and stuff. And Cody would, of course, he'd blame them for something. Oh, now you're taking away money. Now my other kids can't eat. I don't know. I feel like he definitely would have something to say about it, and it probably would not be too nice. But let me know what you thought of the series. I was gonna say series finale. Do you think it's the series finale? Since two wives are gone, essentially. One for sure, and one is gone, but the door's open for her to come back. Do we think there will be a season 18? And do we think Janelle and Christine should have their own spinoff without Cody and Robin and Mary? Also, what did you think of the season finale? How would you rate the episode? How would you rate the episode? It was okay. It was like, eh. Like I said, it just felt like one long behind conversation this entire season. The same conversation. As always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you for being here. I hope you come on back for the next one. But until then, bye for now.